This is KRQE News 13 with Dick Niffing and Diane Anderson.
Across New Mexico, schools, prisons, and just about every other state agency are preparing to make budget cuts.
We heard about that every day this week. So why is the state tourism department putting up $200,000 for a float in the Rose Bowl parade? News 13's Dave Bowman asked that question today.
All week long, New Mexico cabinet secretaries trotted out gloomy forecasts if they're forced to cut millions from their budgets.
A reduction of this magnitude will affect the ability to meet the needs of the clients.
We're going to need to shut down prisons.
But no long faces at the Department of Tourism. While the Department of Tourism also faces cuts, it showed off its Tournament of Roses parade float featuring cartoon character Pepe Le Pew and a hot air balloon with the state logo. The float and the travel for state tourism officials to promote New Mexico will cost you slightly less than $200,000. The department believes it's worth every penny.
40 million people in the United States are seeing this float, and we don't know how many people around the world. So you add all of that up, and the cost of doing this float is very, very cost-effective for New Mexico.
Tell that to 30,000 people who have lost their jobs over the last year and a half, and they'll tell you, Dave, this is not a priority.
State Representative Larry Larrañaga says tourism's timing stinks as bad as the main character on New Mexico's float. He questions the float's ability to actually lure tourists.
Maybe they'll give us a key to Hollywood, but I don't think that makes any difference in New Mexico.
If we don't advertise, our neighbors will take those tourists.
Richard Eads says the tourism department faces that same 7.5% budget cut as other agencies. But he adds the state cannot afford to lose the exposure it's gained from its Rose Parade floats over the past 3 years. Dave Bowman, KRQE News 13.
Richard Eads also says the department will spend less money on this year's trip by having employees spend 2 fewer days in California. Incidentally, if the budget cuts stick, tourism could lose about $1.2 million.
The Richardson administration says those budget cuts okayed by lawmakers may force some state parks to close and cut back on oil and gas inspections as well. The agency that oversees those areas is looking at nearly a $2 million loss. The governor has until November 12th to sign or veto budget bills approved by the special session earlier this month. The state is facing a $650 million deficit.